Hey, what's good, everybody? It's your boy PT. Hey, how many times have you been presented with something, your immediate response was no? Like, hey, do you want to go? No. Right. Nah, I don't do that. How many times have you been asked a question in your professional life where your response was the quick no? No, I ain't doing that. Hey, can you stay over tonight or can you stay an extra hour to help? But no, I don't do that. That ain't my job. How many times have you done that? Now, what if that's the wrong question? The question is, do you want to? But maybe that's not the question they should be asking. The question should be, I need you to do something. Will this align with where you want to go in your life? And they're never going to ask you that question, but that is how you have to hear the question. You have to take that question and align it to your life. If I do this thing, for instance, hey, are you going to go to school, get your master's degree? And the first thing you think about is how much work that's going to take. Oh man, I got to do this, and I don't want to do that. Then I got to spend hours where I still want to. Man, my TV show come on, so I don't want to miss. I can't miss that. And because of that, the question really should be: if I go back to school, would that help me get to where I want to go? What else? I'm just trying to think of things that I've asked people and they said no. Or just let's be real. People asked me the question and I said no without giving it the real thought process. Do you want to take that position? Someone asked me this recently. Now I knew I was leaving the job, so that's why I didn't take it. But I seen them ask other people the same question. Hey, this person is moving. Do you want to take it? They're like, nah, I don't want to take it. But then they'll turn right around and be like, man, the decisions here suck. I No one listens. Middle management is terrible. You was just offered the middle management role and you said no because either you doubted yourself, you was afraid of it. Maybe there was the time restriction, but you saw the person who was there before you. And not that they didn't put time into it, but it didn't demand them to stay 10, 11 hours to do something. The thing is, you can't allow your emotions to derail you from where you want to go in life. That's the alignment. You know where you want to go, and now you need to do things intentionally to get you aligned to that pathway. And a lot of times, we are our worst enemies. We are the ones that say no to opportunities when they are presented to us. I remember when I was younger, and I used to play basketball a lot. And one day I was playing up in this place called Beltsville, Maryland. And I was playing ball against one of the guys who played for the University of Maryland basketball team. This guy's in college playing ball. So we're playing back and forth. He's good, don't get me wrong, but I was holding my own. And at the end of it, he was like, man, you really got a good game. And I was like, so do you. Like, do you play somewhere? He was like, yeah, I play for the University of Maryland team. And I was like, oh man, he said, man, I would love to introduce you to my coach because we have walk-ons every year and no promises, but man, I would love to see what you can do out there. And the first thing I said was, nah, man, I ain't trying to go back to school. Crazy. At the time, all I thought about was I didn't have the best grades. I don't know how I was going to do it. I didn't give it even an opportunity or a chance. I just said, nah, man, I ain't going to do it because I don't want to go back to school. That was an emotional response due to fear. I didn't think I deserved to be in the University of Maryland. Hell, I couldn't even get through Prince George's Community College. So when I was offered this thing, a slight opportunity, I got scared and said, nah, I can't do it. How many of y'all are doing the same thing? How many of y'all see something that you want that aligns to what you want? Hey, I'm getting older, or when I get to this certain age, I want this thing, and you're fixated on it, but you don't allow yourself to take any of the steps needed to get there because you're afraid. It gets you out of the boundaries that you're comfortable with. It makes your friends look at you a little different. Maybe they're not as supportive. Maybe they're not supportive at all, right? You're like, man, I want to go here. And they're like, yeah, why you want to do that? Yeah, okay. I mean, I got a buddy who did that and they failed and they never did it again. So I don't know why you would want to do that. But if it aligns to where you want to go, then you got to cut all of that out. There's no place for that fear and that doubt when you align yourself to where you want to go. Because being comfortable gets you nowhere. You probably been comfortable for the past 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And now you're looking at yourself and looking around, wishing you were somewhere else. Regret is the worst thing to live with. You don't want to get older, and say, man, I didn't do that because I was afraid. But yet, I swear you probably tell people I'm not afraid. I ain't scared of nothing. I'm tough, I'm this, I'm that. But when it comes to you making a decision about getting out of your comfort zone to go after the thing that you said you want to, you're afraid to. And I know this because I know a lot of people who want businesses and they haven't even filed for an LLC. I know people who talk about all the money they want or they want to get to this certain status, but yet they don't even go out and network. They're literally waiting for it to just happen to them. And, I'm not saying that there's not times to say no. Yes. If it's not in alignment with where you're saying you want to go, then no is definitely the right answer. But you got to know first where you want to go. And then two, when these opportunities come, don't just say no because you don't want to do it, because your emotions are like, I don't think I want to do it. No, look at it. Who can I meet if I do this? Oh man, if I take this opportunity to go speak, what can I do? And when I got into the military, the one thing that someone told me that always stuck around is like, if you want to get promoted, do the jobs people don't want to do. Don't follow everybody else. Everyone's going to do all this other stuff that everyone do. They're the cattle. They're going to all follow the same route. They're going to all go get slaughtered. But you need to walk a different route. Do the things they don't want to do. So go clean the shed. Who wants to clean the shed? Man, look, I'll do it. And then what happens is they be like, okay, thanks for volunteering. Go head home early. The rest of y'all go clean the shed. Next time they come and say, who wants to do it? Everyone raising their hand and they're like, well, no one's going home. Thank you all for doing it, right? It was a game that they played with us just so that you knew, like, you had to step up. Step up. Take the chance. And the more chances I took, hey, who want to lead this committee? I'll do it. And then I get awarded for it. I get rewards and I get awards for it. So it's like, that's your life. If you take those small chances and stop letting your internal fear stop you from doing it, then I could just imagine where you could probably be right now. But it does require sacrifice. It won't be easy. When you take those steps, yeah, you might not be home at 5 o'clock. You might have to tell your wife or your husband, I'm putting this work in because I see a future, right? It's not just saying I'm doing it because I'm doing it. It's painting the picture of where you want to be. And your family should be aligned with you. I'm going to do another episode about family alignment. But for right now, it's just self-alignment. Understanding where you want to go and then take the steps to make sure that that's where you want to be. Because what are you protecting? Why are you afraid? You can't protect the comfort. Nothing happens in comfort but the rest. There's no success in comfort. And where you are in life is exactly where you're supposed to be because of all the decisions that you've already made. You didn't get here by an accident. You got here by some type of habits, whether they were good habits, whether they were bad habits. You are where you are. So if you're not satisfied with anything that's going on, if you're not satisfied with how you look, if you're not satisfied about your house, if you're not satisfied with your bank account, if you're not satisfied about your personality, if you're not satisfied about your fears, maybe you need counseling. Maybe you need to get around different people who ain't always reminding you of bad times or always putting this negativity in your ear, because that probably don't align with you either. I'm sure you don't say, hey, in order for me to be successful, I need to hear all the negative things that people got to say. Doesn't really work with that. So are you aligned? I guess, where are you trying to go? That's the question you need to ask yourself. So there's one thing to say, make the right decisions, but what's the right decision if you ain't got nowhere to go? If you don't know where you're going, then there are no right decisions. Right? So ask yourself, what do you want in a career? Do you want a business? What do you want in your marriage or your relationships? What do you want your health to be? What about your finances, education? What about your spiritual life? I got baptized a year ago, and I could tell you that was a world of difference. Because when I was out here living, not trying to be the child of God, man, like I was lost. Got baptized, and I could tell you right now, so many things. Once I aligned myself, and I'm not going to get overly deep in this, but once I aligned myself back to where I should have been, how I grew up, my successes started to kick in. I don't know if it's a different energy. I don't know if it's a different feeling, but it just started to kick in. And now I share messages like legacy. My kids act different. Me and my wife's relationship is different because what I had to do as the man of this house was put us back in alignment. We were misaligned. She was seeing this way, I was seeing that way. We had to get back as to one. And that leads into everything you do. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So when I got myself right internally, then that started to get my relationship with my family better, which then made my work relationship better, which then made the business better, which then made my finances better, which now makes my health better. All that happened simply because I aligned myself to where I know I need to be. Now, your alignment don't have to be spiritual. Your alignment can be whatever your alignment is that's going to help shape you and take you and make you a better person and get to where you want to go. But you got to stop saying no and just make sure that the things you're saying yes to aligns you to where you want, to your goals. And we don't always do that. Sometimes we allow our friends to dictate where we go. How many times you been somewhere and your friends like, hey, y'all want to go over here? And you're like, nah, man, I don't really want to go. And they're like, come on, man. Come on. You know you want, just go with me this little, and you're like, nah. And now you start thinking, well, I don't want to be the one who say no, or I don't want to be this. And then you go. And you know the whole time you shouldn't have went. You're not having fun. You're not doing anything, and it does nothing for you. People ask me now, hey, how come you go to bed and you don't come out? Who you hang out with? I hang out with entrepreneurs. I hang out with authors. I hang out with speakers. I hang out with consultants. What I'm not doing is hanging out with people talking about football all day long. Right? I'm not going to know all the stats for this football season. Those people already hit their alignment. They already aligned with where they're going. They did all the things they needed to do, all the hard work, all the effort, all the sacrifice, and now they're playing on the biggest stages in front of the biggest crowds, getting paid their money, having great health, and doing something they love, while a lot of people are sitting at home watching them and not doing what they should be doing. I literally used to run home for the Steeler games, made my plans around the Steeler games. I'm still a Steeler fan. I still watch the games, but it's okay to miss it if I'm doing something that puts me a little bit closer to what it is that I'm truly after. I no longer, everything I do is for that. That's it. And I think that everything you do should be for that. You need to learn to get to yes. There's this thing at work where, and I'm sure everyone do it, but I used to do it when I was like the first line supervisor, and I'll say, hey, I think we need to do this, and I need suggestions. And people were like, no. And it's like, hold on. Let's look at all the possible ways to get to yes before we get to no. Let's get into that design thinking. Let's start throwing things on the wall and see what we could put together and see if we could come up with a formidable action that's practical, that makes sense before we say no. And let's look at all of the risk before we get to no. And that's how I think you're supposed to be looking at things. And that's just a different mindset. So when someone asks me, hey, I don't know, I'll keep it personal. My wife asked me, do I want to do something? I don't just say, no, I don't want to do it. I think about it. Where does she want to go? Where does this benefit? How does it keep me aligned in my relationship? Will this strengthen my relationship or can it weaken it? Do I have a different reason for not going? Why would I not go? She asked me to go. Is it just because I don't feel like going? Is feelings enough for me not to go to then make this day a bad day for something that she wants to do? Nah, I'm gonna go, right? I'm gonna go. And I see that and I do the same thing at work. Oh, I'll do that, right? I'll do it. Who do I, and I might meet somebody different who might be the catalyst of something else that could help me to get to where I want to go. You just never know the outcome. You know the outcome if you say no. Nothing changes. Nothing would change at all if you say no all the time. So you got to start figuring out what it is that you want to do. And you got to start figuring out what type of life you want and what type of career you want. Because here's the thing, everything that you want to get out of life, in order to get it, it won't be fun. It's not going to be fun. I was having so much fun before I joined the military, and I was nowhere. I didn't have a college degree. I had a low paying job, but I was having fun. We was at the club. We was doing everything we wanted to do. I joined the military and I didn't have fun, but that got me to where I needed to be. And then I learned that it wasn't about fun. It's about the fulfillment, and the joy came from knowing I'm taking these steps to get to where I wanted to be. And right now, I'm still on that projection. The way I live right now is where I saw myself 25 years ago when I joined the military. I literally looked at my wife and said, we're going to use this as a catalyst to get to this point in the future. And we got there. And I'm not tooting my own horn or nothing like that. I'm just telling you that it works. But I knew where I wanted to go, and I took jobs that got me there. And even when they sent me to places that I didn't, I made the best out of it. I said, okay, you sent me to Korea for a year. What can I get out of Korea that I couldn't get by staying in Albuquerque? And I worked hard, and they put me in positions, and I ran organizations, and I did different things that all got onto my resume, which all led to me, once I retired, be able to get a project management job, which then allowed me to get a certain amount of income that I needed to take care of my family. Oh, by the way, I get VA benefits. So I was able to utilize the military to get to where I wanted to go for the vision that I saw 20 something years ago, 25 plus years ago. And a lot of y'all are there. I'm not talking to people like you're not there. I know a lot of y'all are where you want to be, but I also know y'all want to be further. And now I'm starting to hear people who are getting up in age a little bit thinking that they're done. You're not done at all. You still got time to rock and roll. You just got to buckle down, lock in, and take those steps to get to where you want to go, to that destination. You know? And I hope you just think about what I was saying today. I hope this message makes sense to you. In the future, I would just say this, man. Stop letting your today comfort make decisions about your tomorrow life. Yeah, I had to write that one down because I saw that and I said, that's powerful. Stop letting today's comfort make decisions about your tomorrow's life, because that just ain't going to make it to where you want to be. So that's all I really got for you today. If you like this, if it hits you a certain way, or you think someone needs to hear this, please send this to them. Just hit that share thing, send it to them. This is the type of content I know I talk about. So please subscribe. I'm on YouTube. The link will be in the description. Just click on it, subscribe to it, and then you never have to miss this again. And hopefully I'm gonna start getting guests on here. We're gonna go back and forth talking about some of these topics. So if you're interested in being a guest, hit me up, and then we'll schedule a time to get you on here so that we could discuss some of these things and I can hear your stories. And let's see how many people we can help when we share our stories, because stories sell, stories help, stories build. Because I don't want anyone out here thinking you're out here by yourself, like you're the only one in a slump. We all been in slumps, but now you got to get out of it, figure out where you want to go, and start taking those steps to get there. So that's all I got for you. And as always, stay real.